Genji 2 is an action game which is based on Japanese history. Being based on history, the stages of the game will also be based on famous battles which actually took place in ancient Japan. So here's this giant enemy crab.
So how do you guys feel about Pokemon Sleep?
Pokemon. Did I miss something?
Did we talk about this on podcast?
I don't think we did. Hold on.
We've definitely talked about it before, but I just don't remember if this.
I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast. I remember it came up.
Yeah, but I can remember that was one of our chats.
I remember
What the hell is
downloading it. I never used it, but apparently you have to have your phone, like the screen on the entire time while you're sleeping.
You kill your battery.
Basically. I don't know why they made that. Like why that's a thing.
Money.
Okay,
I don't know.
so one of the remember how I told you about that guy who does the financial advisor guy?
Yeah.
He had a guy on there who he's like, what is this Google Play like $5 every week? He's like, oh well, that's my Pokemon Sleep, and he's trying to explain it to him. He's like, oh yeah, it helps me sleep, and while I'm sleeping, you know, I can wake up and feed my Snorlax and catch a Pikachu. And he's like, but you can't afford this. But I need it to sleep, so I'm better. And it's like the way he explained it was, it's 100% okay. Like, you know how I like have trouble playing video games if it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like if it's just a one-shot thing, or I'm like not gonna play it ever again. I'm like, why even do it? It's like that, except people are adapting that to their whole life. So it's like, if I'm sleeping and I'm not gaining Pokemon points, I can't sleep. I need like instant gratification while I'm asleep in the like.
As soon as I wake up, I need progress. You know, I need my dopamine.
Progress. I need my XP bar to fill as I sleep. That's crazy.
Something you said there that confused me. So wait, you said that he's like, you can't afford this. Does it cost money or something? Or is it just like they can't afford to lose the sleep?
There's in-app purchases.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You get 10% more sleep per sleep.
You gotta wake up to spend money. Can't afford to do it, but I'm gonna spend more to get Pokemon points.
At what point are you just getting mugged by the Pokemon company at this point?
You are. In your sleep, they're taking your dollars. At least Pokemon Go, like, oh, there's somebody out there who does Pokemon Go all day and Pokemon sleeps at night. There's somebody, and they're doing it on multiple phones.
Well, like, to be honest, like, if that does help you sleep, then $5 a week, you know, that's if it's that much of like I can't sleep without this, that's perfectly fine. You know, that's legitimate.
Supposed to help you sleep.
It's more that like Fliz was saying, that he requires that kind of like, I need to be making progress, or I just am staying up all night on my phone doing stuff like that. That's what it is. That's like the actual problem. So it's not really the Pokemon Sleep app. It's a much deeper issue. But
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's a much deeper problem.
Maybe put on like free YouTube rain sounds and then pay for like therapy. I think that would be a better use of the money, in my humble opinion. But
I actually do have a sleep app that I use.
Do you pay for it?
I did. Yeah, it's like a 1-year payment thing. I
What
have
does it
to
do?
because pretty much it just plays music, right? Because I have headphones that I put in, and it plays like different music for me with a timer that turns itself off after a certain amount. I have to use it because Danielle can't sleep without the TV playing something on YouTube. But I can't sleep listening to YouTube like that. So that's kind of the solution, is I need something to drown out the sound to help me sleep.
We are the same. My wife has to have like some Futurama or something playing, and the TV's so fucking big. It's so big, and it lights up the whole goddamn house. And I can't sleep, so I have to like put a pillow over my face, and I have earbuds, and I listen to rainstorms every night. You see me pop up my YouTube, and it's got rainstorms.
Yeah, I actually have. I bought these like big, heavy, like ear. God, why am I drawing a blank? It's like a headband, basically, but it's like, it's very heavy, so it completely blocks out all light. Like nothing comes through it, nothing goes around it at all.
Oh, a sleep mask, right?
Yeah, it's a type. It's a sleep mask. Yeah, it's like a specific type. I bought like 6. This is how desperate I am to get good sleep, and this is like the only one I found that works consistently.
If I type in big sleep mask, maybe I'll find it.
And yeah, I use that, some headphones with that app, and it helps me sleep like way better. And sleep is like super important for me too. But yeah, like I could totally see spending $5 on Pokemon Sleep to help you. But I think it just is very telling that we have people that require that. Like we're in that kind of age where just we constantly need something and need to be making progress in something in order to even rest at any given time.
It's just crazy. Like there's so much free stuff on YouTube to help you sleep, and this is like pay for licensing.
I'd just rather go to the YouTube stuff. Like, that being said, I don't necessarily need something playing while I sleep, but sometimes.
Too strong.
The only thing I do when I'm sleeping is I just need something making white noise. So usually just a fan or something.
Just a pot of macaroni boiling in the corner.
If it could turn itself off, sure. I
actually have some kind of that too, because the reason I bought the app that I have is because like they give you like hundreds of different like sounds that you can use and combine and stuff. So I can make different ones. Like if I get bored of one, I can just make a new one on my own. You know, it's just kind of one of those things.
The sound of someone quietly crispy farting in the wind.
Not that one. I skipped that one.
I skipped that one.
The most plays is 4 Big Guys on repeat. Slow.
Oh, it totally is.
0.4.
Yeah, it's like an acapella.
Their whispers say 4 big guys.
When it's time for them to wake up, it just slowly ramps the volume.
Picks up the tempo.
I wonder how many Pokemon you get for Pokemon Sleep, though.
I don't know. I'm done with Pokemon Sleep. What I'm not done with is episode 21 of Giant Enemy Crab Podcast. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're here for all your gaming news and Pokemon Sleep interests.
Ooh, my favorite.
I'm joined by lovely Kyler here and Tsungar and our boy Strider. How y'all doing today, fellas? I hope you got enough sleep.
I did. I slept so much. I slept like 12 hours today. I don't know why.
Oh, I'm jealous.
What happened?
I have 2 kids. What
It's
happened?
Like 1.2 hours today.
Kind of. Yeah, man. You saw yesterday, what was it, Friday? I worked all day I woke up at 5, took my kids to school, worked all day, came home, went to like her Halloween at school thing till like 8 o'clock, and then my wife went to bed and I stayed up till 4 with the new baby, and I was just a wreck yesterday. And then I had to stay up some more, man. It never ends. It's great. I wonder why I'm wearing this fucking heart monitor.
Oh,
that's my Pokemon Sleep Heart Heart Monitor.
Heart attack.
it's like a little Pikachu. If it's actually any problems, it just Pikachu hits you with a zap.
And there you go.
Pika.
What?
You know, every time I think of Pika now, I always think of isn't that a disease where people just eat things? Pika.
Yeah, Pika.
And you just eat stuff you're not supposed to eat.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah, cats get it too. There's feline Pika.
It's like when that lady ate all her stuffing out of her couch or whatever on that show.
I don't think that was Pika. I think she was just weird. Because like Pika is you eat multiple different types of random things. She was just straight up eating fucking couch cushions.
I couldn't argue with you there. I'm not a doctor.
You don't understand. Each of the stuffings is different enough. They taste different. So it satisfies the condition.
Just, you know how much flavoring's been put into that couch over the years? Like every part is held in there. Every bite is a little bit different. This one's corn.
She was eating enough. Dude, no,
marinated.
I remember that she was eating so much couches. She's had to get a new one like every week. There's no time for flavor to settle in.
Oh my god!
There you go. Each couch tastes different. Right there.
See, so we're back where we were.
Try different brands.
How many couches have you eaten?
There's also that lady that eat drywall.
How much drywall have you eaten?
Or the lady that eat rocks. Lionel couldn't handle that one.
How many rocks have you? Why are you dodging these?
Answer the real question soon.
Oh, I've never eaten any of that shit.
I don't know about that one.
I just remember watching the episodes because we binge watched that for like weeks.
Yeah, it was great. It's a great time.
Well, instead of eating rocks, what you got for us today, Lionel? What's new on the gaming news docket?
Ooh, so I've been kind of following Ashes of Creation recently because
now remind me again, what is Ashes of Creation?
So Ashes of Creation
Just a quick summary.
It's the upcoming MMO. It's an indie MMO. That's was started by Stephen Sheriff, who is a rather wealthy individual. He started this and tried to basically solo fund it, eventually started a Kickstarter, and now has a indie development team of over 100 people making this MMO. It's been in development for about 8 years now. And kind of the idea and like why this MMO has sort of been popular is because they're trying to create a very large and never done before MMO of just full scale, like PvP, player driven. The players create the world themselves by interacting with like things that they find, whether it's the mobs or the small fledgling towns. They create it, become mayor, like all this other stuff. It is a huge endeavor, right?
Real quick, I know we did an episode on this, so I just wanted to give the listeners an update. But did this cost $700 million so far?
No, no, it did not. From what I remember, the Kickstarter actually made about $3 million.
Oh my God.
Around there.
All right.
Yeah. So their current alpha test, alpha 2 test, I believe, is actually going down right now. The first wave started a couple days ago from today, and the NDAs for it have been fully lifted. So we get to watch the gameplay. There are people streaming it. There's videos out. People are talking about it now. And I kind of wanted to go over like what's been happening.
Okay, because
yeah, go ahead.
We'll just, I mean, when we first talked about this, I remember it was very much so, in theory, this could be awesome, but in reality, this is probably not it. You know, like that's where we kind of landed, and it'd be hard to see what they actually wanted come to fruition.
Right.
So now we have, how's it looking so far?
Well, to kind of preface this, they said when this came out that this testing phase is mostly for like network purposes, you know,
stress testing.
Yeah, they're stress testing essentially, which is kind of like oof when you consider that in order to enter this playtest, you had to drop $120.
That is so much.
You'll never get the player base you're looking for.
Important thing about this is originally you had to pay for exclusively the alpha, right? You didn't get beta, you didn't get the full release. It was just for the alpha.
Just for the alpha test. They since revoked that. Now if you buy it, you get access to the subsequent tests as well. And you also get get this, 1 month of free game time when the game releases.
Wait, 1 month?
A $15 value for only $120.
Holy shit.
But anyway, yeah, that's just to preface this. This is mostly just stress testing. From what we've seen, it hasn't been going that great, to be honest.
No.
It could have gone worse. It's definitely not like a total failure. There's some funny parts. At one point, I remember seeing, we talked about how the server meshing is, how like as you move throughout the world, you will actually transfer servers, kind of like as you walk past an invisible barrier. And we actually saw this in the game because at one point, that barrier served as a death wall. where if you tried to cross, you would just die.
Oh no.
And you could see the other players just floating in place as they just infinitely walked forward but didn't actually move anywhere. And then people would have to like walk around. So not great, but you know, the game worked and we got to see kind of the game itself and what it was about. There have been some things that people really liked. One being the combat feels like pretty good. And that's something they've gotten some critiques about because they have this weird hybrid tab targeting thing. But for the most part, people seem to enjoy it. Some people say it's worse than Black Desert Online and all this other stuff. And that's like, that's not what they're going for, though. For what it is, it seems to work pretty okay, which is fine. From there is where things get a little oof.
No, tell me it gets better. Don't tell me that.
Yeah. The game just, it's just not done, you know?
No, it is
like,
not.
That seemed to be the consensus of everything I found, but
they got nothing, you know? It's not even that like it's so terrible. It's just when you take into account that the game has been in development for 8 years,
8 or 9?
8 years, from
8?
what I understand. Yeah.
Okay, I kept seeing 9.
It could be coming up to 9. As far as I know, it's just 8.
Yeah,
But
people might be rounding up, yeah.
like there's really nothing there that to do. Like a lot of even when they show stuff on their like development streams of all like these huge bosses and dragons and stuff, you can't do any of that in here. Like it's just not there. And also there have been complaints about the whole PvP all the time system as well, because the system they use to discourage PvP does not seem to be harsh enough at all. And there are no safe zones. And when I say no safe zones, I mean, when you start the game, the starting area you can get killed in.
Oh, great.
Welcome to the Thunderdome. It's time to storm the beaches of Normandy.
Yeah.
I can imagine that like the starting zone is just full of people sitting around waiting for people to.
That's what you'll get, dude. There's a reason that they're supposed to be safe zones.
$120 experience.
I got mugged and then mugged again. This repeated for several hours.
Some other like key aspects about the game though that we now have like evidence of is progression is super slow, like very slow. You cannot get like level 10 gear if the towns around you have not been upgraded. So you need to like follow like where players are going to have upgraded towns to actually even get like beginner level gear. And that takes a while. So it takes like a long time to actually get up to something that's like relatively decent power, like strength wise. And people there's mixed feelings about that, but we can get back to that later. The other main thing is it is heavily group focused too. Like if you are not like in a group constantly, whenever you move to zone, you're going to struggle because being by yourself is such a detriment to you.
I can imagine if there's people, I mean, trolls are what want to play a game like this.
Yeah.
You know, like they're the ones who want the griefers, and this is griefer troll paradise.
Yeah, just maybe just a little bit, but even just like fighting mobs, like you can't really expect to kill mobs and gain XP because there's not enough mobs to go around. Like first of all, like you just won't be able to kill them because there won't be any. And then some of them are like so strong that good luck. In some areas, good luck doing it. But from there, the environment seems to be really well done, but the actual art style there's literally a lack of it. And this has been kind of a controversy, the art style of Ashes of Creation, because it goes for like realism, right? Which can look really good. The problem is what they have doesn't look that great when it comes to the player models themselves. And then also it makes it look very bland.
Dude, I was looking at the classes just now because the last time we talked about this, every time I looked at the site and I didn't see like anything that shows like what the classes like what they look like in action.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing, their website will not stay up as I try and look at this, but I got to see what some of the bard moves look like because it's a bard class and it looks like shit.
Yeah,
it looks so bad. Like it's like,
yeah,
I'm a bard and I'm doing interpretive dance.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. But there have been people saying that, you know, when you're looking at like gameplay of different video games, especially MMOs, like you can kind of tell like, oh, that's World of Warcraft, that's Final Fantasy. And even just small stuff, like you can tell it's Final Fantasy 14 just because of the numbers that are showing up on the screen. Like they're so stylized.
Well, that's like Final Fantasy style numbering.
Exactly. Ashes of Creation has none of it. Like if you were to look at the gameplay, you could not tell like what game it is. Like there'd be no way for you to recognize it at all.
So it lacks an identity, a strong identity.
If basically. I had to give it a descriptor, it looks like, so I'll use Grandma's Boy, the movie, as like an example. You know, the game he's creating, it looks like a game you'd see, like, how do I explain it? It looks like a game you'd see in a movie about video games where this is not real game, but here's the game they're playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been trying to see the game on the website, but every page is not available.
Dude, I told you the website is like, I don't know if they're getting DOSed or what, but the site is not able to stay up.
I was just gonna say that they're actually getting DDoSed right now.
Real time.
Yeah, real time. They are actually getting DDoSed. Their website is, I believe, and also their login server is also getting DDoSed. So
Yeah, I just got a 504 gateway
Yeah,
timeout.
I keep getting host
anymore.
connection issue.
if you paid for an alpha key to get into this game, I'm so sorry. Like,
Oh man.
I hope they do something to give you, like, maybe extend it to give you some of your money back.
You know what's crazy is
Hopefully.
apparently, like, reading up on some stuff regarding the guy who started the whole development for this. I can see a lot of people saying like it was known he's kind of a scumbaggy guy.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
this.
So why
before,
would you?
too.
Why would you give that someone like that?
Why would people give Starfield $700 million,
Star
dog?
Citizen.
Like, whatever.
I
Doesn't
was gonna
fucking
say
matter.
Starfield had its own funding. That's a different game.
My bad. I don't know my space games.
We have talked about both on
Yeah,
this podcast.
see? And one of them cost $700 million and isn't done.
Say a Star Citizen.
And then Starfield had a fucking 85-second trailer for a fucking car and a 10-second trailer for their
Hey
actual
man, at least the
DLC.
game is done.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man.
So with
This is sad.
Ashes, like it's very clear that it's nowhere near done. They still got a long way to go. There's good news in the fact that they are sticking to like their design philosophy of what they want the game to be, where they want it to be a very social game. That what with like you have to group up if you want to do stuff. Like you will just shoot yourself in the foot if you don't. Like for sure. PvP is like everywhere. Not even where you spawn to start the game is safe. Like
Yeah, you gotta group up
It
just
is
so you
everywhere.
can make it to the next town.
Oh my god. You know what this gives me the same vibes of? It sounds like the fucking the like launch day of Fallout 76, where you could hear everyone in the character creator because you're all
my
placed
God.
in the
Oh,
same
yeah.
location, and people were just fucking shouting slurs at each other, like, and it was just pure chaos. It's just like 400 people in like the same area just yelling at each
Dude,
other.
I think I was messing around with it. I made my character look really goofy, and I was like, and then someone was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Uh."
yeah, and it starts with open mic too. I remember that.
What
But
a beautiful
the
time.
very slow gear progression as well makes it very important for you to like level up the towns and everything, so you can kind of get that high end gear. So they're definitely like sticking to what the audience and what they want the game to be.
So is the slow gear, is that something that people want?
From what I can tell, yeah, because kind of the point of having gear progression to be slower and leveling slower in general is you want people to kind of build up and level up together as the game goes on. You don't want to like hop on the next day and someone's like, yeah, I already got everything. Don't worry about it, bro. Like you don't want that to happen. That seems to be like you want it to be social in the fact that even gear progression is something you do together.
Yeah, that makes sense at the start.
But what if I want to do stuff on my own?
Well, this
That's
isn't
the
the
thing is
game.
you don't.
This isn't
Like,
the game for it.
Play
It's-
something
it-
else.
It's the design philosophy is against it. The only thing is, this is definitely going to struggle long term. Absolutely.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's what I
not-
was gonna say.
90% of your player base plus is going to be a casual player, and this is definitely very anti-casual friendly in like
Yeah.
basically any game.
See, I don't mind partying up and doing stuff with friends and MMOs, but like, what if I want to continue just doing some other side shit?
Then play a different game.
But that's not the side shit in the game.
Well, I'm not going to play a platformer and then complain that it doesn't have enough strategy going on. like it's just the design philosophy.
Yeah,
Because you don't want to make a game that appeases to everyone, because then you please no one.
true. Because one of the things about this game is the world size is meant to be extremely massive. Like even this alpha test, which just has a very small chunk of one continent, is enormous, right?
Yep.
I honestly don't think that they will get enough players to even fill like this world, to be honest with you. Because the idea of having an MMO that is always PvP, slow progression, constantly social, there's a reason no one's done it before, because like no one really wants that. You know what I mean? Like every large MMO always has PvP. Well, not always. Typically has PvP be a choice.
Yeah, you can flag yourself for it or go to a
You either
battleground.
flag yourself to it, it's instanced somewhere, something like that. Very few MMOs have constant, always on PvP.
Unless you choose like a server for that, but
Right, which in itself
Is a choice.
is a choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and like every time those servers are more often than not the less populated ones. Like people just
Exactly.
generally don't like that.
No, people don't.
it's like, when you're having fun leveling and then someone comes out of nowhere, kills your ass, and then camps your body for 20 fucking hours. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck,
Right.
man?
And keep in mind, this is also a game that uses XP debt when you die.
Jesus, what?
So XP debt, which is
Oh my God,
if you
fuck
die,
off.
yeah, if you die, basically there's a chunk of EXP that you don't necessarily lose, but you have to gain before your character starts gaining XP. So dying is something you definitely don't want to do in an always on PvP MMO game. There was an interview that Steven Sheriff did where he was asked like how he thinks he will compete with MMOs like Elder Scrolls Online and World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy. And he said that those aren't really, he's not going to because they're not his competition. He's making a MMO entirely different from those MMOs.
What?
And to me, like, I think that's like a mistake. I think that's a huge mistake because I don't think the community that wants this type of game is really all that large. You know what I mean?
Because the big thing is for this type of game is you need a big community off the start that sticks around. But the problem is that both the actual game's design is against a very long-term community in terms of the fact that, like, as this game goes on, it's going to get way, way worse from their current development philosophy for new players. And it's going to be so much harder for new players to get in, like a month, 6 months, a year after.
Yeah, because if it's this slow to progress, right? Like a year later, when people have done that progression, how the hell are you going to catch up to them without just getting like smacked down? Like it's not going to happen, right? It's just going to be like a terrible experience just to try to catch up. You're playing catch up the entire game.
It sounds like something that would just be inundated with like characters to buy, and the prices would be so extreme to buy like level maxed out characters.
Dude, even just getting in the alpha is extreme.
Yeah, dude, the character's already baseline $120. alpha test character, hell yeah. And then I don't know, it like all those services that used to like in Diablo 2, I used to sell like ball rushes, whatever, like whichever boss it was, you'd like get your group together and you just rush newbies through it over and over again. This would be full of that kind of stuff. But I'm kind of like, I like the idea of gearing something toward, I know it's obviously not going to be the biggest fan base. Honestly, you could look at WoW and just follow what they've done, because I'm sure WoW has tried everything at some point. You know, the game's been around forever.
So what's funny is the more recent things WoW has done is I've noticed it for years, even before I took a little break from it, but they don't I wouldn't say they exactly innovate as much anymore, because every time they do like a new X pack or something, I'm noticing a lot of things that are really good quality of life changes that they take from other MMOs.
Well, that's part of
It's
that whole,
Blizzard.
like that was a big part of that Blizzard when I did the book
Yeah.
review, is like that's a huge part. Is WoW is now like the official stance for WoW is it's made to make predictable money and on schedule, on time money. It's not about innovation anymore.
So here's the thing, I'm not like
all.
ripping on it. It's just like they add stuff and it's like, okay, yeah, I've seen this in other MMOs and it worked well there, and they made it work well here.
I'm just saying that's by design. Like
No,
that's what they want.
That's why, like I said, I'm not ripping on it. It's just like I'm just like, I guess it's agreeing in general.
So because of that kind of stuff is why I am a little excited to see where this goes. I can't pay $120 for
No,
it,
fuck that.
but I am interested, like, because, you know, from what you're saying, Lionel, it's like this dude has a very narrow mindset as to what he wants this game to be.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and there is a crowd for that.
Yeah, they're definitely, especially, you know, if they've gotten $3 million, and they're definitely people that are buying and playing these keys. Because keep in mind too, this alpha test, the actual alpha test that you'd have to buy into, doesn't actually start until November. The alpha test that started a couple of days ago was if you bought the $500 pack like months back.
Now what? And how do you get 2 months of game time when it releases
I
for that?
I
You
don't
don't
know,
even get
to
the
be
game. You
honest
don't even
with
get the
you.
game time. Fuck you.
No, you get a horse armor.
The scams of creation.
Probably not even.
It's just crazy that like just the idea that the game already has slow progression, and to catch up with people, like to start at the beginning, you're looking at a $500 investment, and it feels very predatory. But what do I know?
Do you think the like alpha progress carries over, or does that character go like down the tube?
It does not.
It doesn't count.
Okay, so you're
okay.
What are
Never
you
mind.
paying $500 for?
Early access.
They believe in it.
You are literally paying to test the game. They've said, and they've been very transparent about it, to their favor, that there will be wipes after every single test. So between tests, you lose all progress, nothing will be saved, and your in-game time will only start counting down once the game releases. So, people that are buying this should know that they're literally paying money to test the game. And that is it.
I like the transparency, and I like that it doesn't, because that'd be fucked up to join a game and be like, yeah, these people who were rich before or really bad with money got in the game way before you had a chance to, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, no, that is not a thing. So, hats off to them for doing that.
Yeah, bravo.
It's not a thing yet. Never know.
The other thing, they have made not common statements about the monetization for the game, which we can go over real quick. There's no box cost. It is pure subscription based, so you don't have to pay for the game. $15 a month, same as like a lot of the other large MMOs out there.
Okay.
There is no pay to win mechanics. Everything from levels, you can't buy inventory slots. There are no EXP potions. None of that is going to be in the game. The only thing you can spend money on to get is cosmetic transactions, such as, skins. And those are non-transferable. You cannot gift them at all, simply as a way to stop people from basically like trading in real money. And no NFTs.
What? That's the one part I was hoping for. Damn.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see when it actually if it fully releases.
So that's the thing that's so confusing about the game. Like there's so many like interesting parts about it. They're so transparent about so many things. And like it feels like it would be a great game when it comes out, but then you see it and it's like 8 years and this is what I got.
Yeah, in 2042.
2042. From an interview, Steven has said that the game won't be released till at least minimum 2026. So there's still like another 2 years to go at minimum. And they've also said they've now finalized the amount of tests they're doing. There's 2 more alpha waves after this. There's beta 1 and then there's beta 2, then game release. So this will come out at some point after that beta 2 for sure, according to them. We'll see.
Because wasn't it like this current alpha test, only one region has anything in it?
Apparently, it's not even done either.
Yeah.
Like the region's not fully finished.
Because they said they were originally going to have 3, because there's 3 locations that are technically in there, but only one has anything in it. That isn't just like the like level geometry, basically, for the other 2.
That I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm not even sure if we knew exactly what would be available in this alpha test. Because from what I know, this is only supposed to be like a network stress test at most. So, yeah, you can take that with for what it is. But I think the thing to highlight here is mostly just how their own philosophy for how the game goes seems almost unsupportable over time.
As far as like bringing in new players, I can see that.
Yeah, more like there's already such a small player base that would be interested in this game in comparison to other MMOs. There's no interest in competing with the largest MMOs, who is like, that's your game audience. If you're not going to try to take players from them, it's even smaller like group of people. The fact that progression is so slow as well kind of creates like over time a nest of players that kind of boots out new players over time, which we've kind of talked about. Like, I don't know.
How have people spoken about the gameplay itself?
Yeah, you can watch the gameplay itself.
Like, does it look very skill based or more level based or gear based? You know what I'm saying? Like, could I get in there and compete with somebody to some degree? Maybe obviously not win or whatever, but throw a punch or two, or is it just like 0 damage If you know what I'm saying?
To be honest with you, I couldn't tell because it lags so bad, and there's so many things happening that I couldn't even tell you if it were possible or not. It's not great.
I actually might have seen a clip of this game and thought it was one of those like big WoW battles where just all the shit's raining. There's like 40 people on the screen like 80 people, and it's just shit's raining and colors everywhere, and you don't know what's going on. The guy who was streaming was just, I'm going here, I'm going. I'm like, I don't even know which one you are, dog. Like, this is
he doesn't know either.
Intense.
He is guessing.
Yeah,
He's just hoping he's going the right way.
but the fact that they want a map so large, with what could be a smaller player base, but at the same time also want these extremely large battles too. Like these like 40 man v 40 like battles and raids and stuff. Like I don't know if you're going to be able to do it. I just don't see it happening. And even if it does happen, I don't see it happening for very long. Like as soon as Riot's MMO comes out, this is cooked. It's done.
Yeah. Oh, I hate to say it, like, but I can see they want large open scale battle. I think that's something they would end up having to forfeit to where they just have like, yeah, everywhere is PvP technically, but there you only get real experience in this battlegrounds area that you take a teleporter to from whatever city. And it like, you can't have a map that big and make it work, it seems. I can't imagine that.
Well, let's just hope that people can join and aren't just getting murdered and spawned like into the game's lifetime. Like, that's going to turn people away more than anything. If you just keep getting...
I don't know, man. They did that on South Park, and they went harder than anybody else because they kept getting murdered. Remember? Right.
Well, grinding boars 2 XP a piece.
Like 7 million or whatever the fuck they had to kill.
People will do it.
I love that episode, even though it's so out there.
Beyond that, there have been some UI complaints. These seem legitimate, where you can't actually read the text sometimes on whenever you hover over something. Like that seems. I don't know how you go so long with that being a thing. That's kind of crazy.
Is it like unreadable because in what sense? Like text flows off screen, it's not formatted correctly.
The text is too small.
It's too small. Okay.
And you can't change it. You can't scale up the size of the text. So that's a problem.
The UI is like text is super tiny.
Yes.
Oh, great.
The text on the UI is very tiny. And there's lots there's lots of other small issues. There's no friends list. If you meet someone that you like want to play with again tomorrow or something, you can't.
You got to get their MySpace.
Yeah, get their MySpace account. So yeah, lots of small issues. It's not a great look, and there are a lot of people saying that, like, look, it's just an alpha test. You know, this you can't expect it to be like a finished game, which is true.
But also 8 years.
But also the alpha is your bones.
At the same time, 8 years, and you know, companies don't really treat these alpha and beta tests as alpha and beta tests. These are marketing opportunities. And if you're not treating them that way, then you're making a mistake, because this should have been under an NDA in that case. You should not be showing this off if it's not something actually impressive, which sucks, you know? Like I can totally see why you'd want to have like an actual alpha test and just show people and be like legitimate. But at the end of the day, people are going to look at the game and see it for, oh, this is Ash's creation. This was like dog shit. Never mind. And they won't care it's an alpha test, you know?
Yeah, the first impressions.
Yep, it's their first impression. Yep.
Exactly. It sucks. And I agree that, you know, it should be treated as an alpha, but at the end of the day, people won't treat it that way.
All this being said, when it does become a subscription, I kind of want to give it a shot.
Oh yeah,
because y'all have heard me complain about, like, if Final Fantasy had a decent PvP mode, I would play that shit every single day.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. And so again, an MMO that's geared towards PvP, I'm kind of about it. I'm sure they exist. I you know what? I should take a look on Steam and see if there's any that are like that. Just double check if I'm missing something. That would be.
We're gonna walk in. We're gonna walk into their first day, and you know who's gonna be there, Lionel? It's gonna be the fisherman. Fisherman's Guild.
Oh, the Fisherman's Guild. Man, we got a lot of fun out of Elder Scrolls Online's PvP.
where we tried to take him for 3 hours with just like
Oh my God.
4 to 6 of us and like 4 opponents. No reinforcements for either side. It just took 3 hours.
Took so
Yeah.
long, dude.
It was great though. We did it. And then eventually we got that Elder Scroll, and it was literally just us trying to run back to our home. And eventually, like, we just started getting chased. Like, we had an army at our back, and then there was another army from our side, like, coming to try to help us.
At least with that endeavor, we had like our faction helping us. Like more people showed up to assist, but
Yeah, I don't know how we finessed that. That was
Well,
amazing.
remember, we started just hemorrhaging people because they were like, okay, we're going to halt them there. Here, and we're just like chopping the tail off, and we go from like we started with like 20 something people when we met up with the group, and then it was like 16, 14, 13, 11, 9, 8, 6, because they're just dying to hold them just a little bit longer.
It was great. Those are great times. Yeah, so I hope Ashes of Creation is good. You know, it just, from what I can tell, I don't have high hopes, and you know, I'm not going to spend any money to try and get into an alpha test. That's for fucking sure. My God.
Yeah, I'll still try. I'll give it a shot. I mean, yeah, if I can put all that time into WoW and Final Fantasy, I'm down to give this at least a shot. Unlike some others that I've looked at.
Yeah, until you have to boot up its own launch, and you're like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, as soon as it starts it makes it a little bit different or a little bit difficult to get on there, I'm done. I'm going home.
No thanks.
how can you go home when you're already home?
What you got for us, Jacob?
Yeah, I got a handful of things. Speaking of WoW, Blizzard just released a $90 mount in WoW.
It's more than that.
Is it really more than $90?
Dude, I looked
In
because I
Canadian?
was like this. So like in Canadian, I looked and I was like, what the fuck? Because this thing was like $132.
Oh my God.
And I was like, this man's cool, but no, like
I better do my fucking taxes for that
it can't even
price.
fucking fly, dude. It's a ground mount.
It's like ground.
It's
Oh,
like
what's it look like?
It's a big like gilded, golden armored. Well, they call it a Brutosaur, but it's like a.
It's a golden dinosaur.
It's a dinosaur, yeah, but like it's the long neck dinosaurs. I can't remember their fucking names.
It's a brontosaur or
Brontos-
brachiosaur.
Yeah. So but
A
yeah, and
patasaur.
some of the things like on it, like it has gems for each expansion of WoW, like on it and stuff. Like it looks very nice.
132 nice.
No. But one of the other like caveats of it is it has 2 vendors on it, which, you know, there are other mounts that do that too. But the mounts that this one has is it has a mobile auction house and transmogrifier, which cool. I can glamour my gear on the go and use the auction house. I would just rather have like an armor like the other ones have though. And you can get those ones with gold. You don't have to fucking spend money.
I'm glad I never saw this, because if you told me, like, I think I specifically remember about WoW looking into the mounts that let you not have to go back to town every time. And I think I would have paid good money for that. I hated that shit.
Well, it's like because like so for what the most recent merchant one they did. Okay, well no, that's not the most recent, but like the one I was thinking, because there's another Brutosaur that you can get from Battle for Azeroth. That
Yeah, I was gonna say
you just pay
that.
gold for it. It doesn't look as fancy, but it has vendors on it that you can just sell shit to. You don't have to like
Yeah.
but and then they released this one which has a transmogrifier and an auction house, and it's like, okay, cool. I can't really sell my shit to this auction house guy without putting it up, and that's gonna take extra time when I could just go like, yo, armor on my other mount, buy my shit.
Man, $132 though.
To resell a gold version of a mount from how long ago was that?
Battle for Azeroth? When was Battle for Azeroth at this
That'd
point?
been like 5 years ago, right?
2018. So
6 years ago.
Has it already been
Oh
6
my
years?
God.
My God.
Yeah.
I wonder I wish they would put out numbers for how much this stuff really made, because I remember,
Dude, I
was it?
saw a player with it.
I'm sure you're gonna see a ton of them.
I was like, it's like that's so much money,
Yeah.
dude.
Here's the thing though. Imagine if Warcraft was the only game you played soon, and you didn't buy other games,
They'd be different then.
you would have every mount in existence, dog. You would just like,
I don't
you
know.
would be the shiniest
There's
person
some
in
that
WoW.
I don't. There's some I'm not like too keen on. So I don't know if I'd have everyone. Because
You would, because at a certain point you'd just be like, I have 80% of them. Why not finish it?
So I can see a little bit of like, if this is your only game, but then again, there's people like me who buy like the Smite Battle Pass, even though I'm not gonna touch
How many
it.
Smite
How
how many Smite Battle Passes have you bought, and how many tiers have you actually completed in them?
I have bought at least 2 that I didn't get past like the first 10 levels.
So most of the ones for me in Smite, most of the ones I bought, I would make it to nearly the end, and it would run out. I would just be like a few games away from that final tier, but I'd be like, I was so burnt out by that point. But oh no, sorry, that Brutus sword. It's not okay. Yeah, it's not an auction and transmogrifier. It's you can check your auctions and your mail, so it's an even more potentially.
It's even more useless.
Yeah, because the mail would only be really relevant if you have people sending you in-game mail or auctions that sell. Which is what yeah. So the transmog was a different mount. It's a bear that has saddlebags, that has an armory, and a transmog, which you could actually sell things to the armory. So I think that was only $25 though. That's like more reasonable. 132.
That's a game I'm like kind of glad I got away from for sure.
Like
that was the first game I ever played, and I remember I stopped because I'd been playing it for like 3 months to catch up with my friends, and there was one night where I had called out sick to work, and I was up, and it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm just sitting there in silence, like running through a forest trying to get from one place to another. And it kind of just hit me like, what the fuck am I doing? There is nothing. This is such a waste of my time and life.
As much as I've played WoW, I never went to that to like extent.
Oh, dude, I was hooked. I was like buying gold from scalpers and shit. Like I was into the game. I was the worst kind of person. I remember asking my friends for gold. Yeah, I was like, yo, you got like 30 gold I can get. Yeah, I was that guy.
Look at someone fucking.
And I had that same feeling that I had with mobile games, where I was like, did I really just spend money? Like, how much? What am I doing? Like, if reality doesn't hit in for some reason until it's too late for me. And then I just, now I just have all that time and money gone. Yeah, something happens. There's a moment. There's a moment with all these games for me that I'm just like done.
It's when it's late enough and the screen has darkened enough that you can see the reflection on your screen. And you're like,
oh, is that what I
me?
look like? Oh, fuck. Oh, no, I'm making the wrong choices.
That's probably exactly what I can see happening. It's just get late enough at night, and you can finally see yourself in the reflection of that dark forest.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And so, speaking of other things from Blizzard, did you guys see that Overwatch is going to be testing 6v6 again in the next season?
I did.
I think we talked about that.
How are we feeling? How are we feeling about this?
Because they're doing. So I was looking into it. They're trying 2 things for the next season. They're doing 2 different tests so far. They have planned. First, they're doing a revamped pseudo open queue where you can have a min of 1 role and a max of 3 for 6v6.
Okay.
The second one is just straight up going to be a 6v6 standard test 222 from what I understand. Just with Overwatch's 2's new design principles.
They really don't know what's happening.
Because the thing they also said about this is that it won't be replacing Quick Play, even if they do decide to do it. It's going to be a separate mode in the arcade, is what they said they were going to be doing.
What's like, I could be wrong, but I swear I remember years ago there being talk of 6v6 being implemented, and the devs were like hell, we're ever going to do that. That's not Overwatch 2. Like they were super against. Okay, I'm not misremembering that.
They actually, I remember on the forums, there was a whole article that Aaron Keller did stating why they did 5v5, why they wouldn't do 6v6. And like one of the big things I remember from reading it was just queue times. like queue times were such a problem where no one wanted to play tanks, but so many people wanted to play DPS that was like a huge reason. Like just that alone.
Yeah, I remember. I think that's why I started playing tanks, is because I was like, in all the games, I just like, fuck DPS. I'm not sitting here waiting for 15 minutes for my team to quit once we don't make it to the first checkpoint. Like, I'll just be Reinhardt and let my team yell at me. It's fine. At least I'm playing the game.
They would do that anyway. Don't worry.
Yeah, pretty much. But they kind of ruined that themselves by making tanks worse and worse. So, I don't know. Never mind.
It all started when they released Brigitte.
Oh, she did it. She's the one.
That was the one.
That was where everything went downhill.
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like no matter what they do, we'll never get like Overwatch 1 back anyways. They've changed so many things about the game at this point that kind of make 6v6 sort of an impossibility. Like, you'd have to revert so much and change so many things, and I know they're never going to do it.
You know what they should do? They should pull a WoW Classic and just be like Overwatch Classic. And then they just re-release. Like, it's not like the game's gone. You could just re-release and then add characters every few months as it was. See which one gets more popular.
Yeah, just release like the new characters, quote new, but adjust their kits to be for Overwatch 1. I could see that.
No, we're not doing that. No, just original Overwatch releases in the same release date.
We need to bring back the 3 out of 3 Reinhardt comp.
Oh no.
That shit we bulldozed through all of our problems.
I legitimately want there to be like Goats 0.2, Goats 2.0. No, it's just the same thing again.
Oh, you didn't get to play Overwatch when they allowed that, did you? Because I think you started too late.
People using the same character?
Yeah.
No, I did. I played Overwatch when it first came out, and there was no ranking or anything to track your progress, and that was a total turn off. So I didn't come back until they brought all that in.
So you probably left before Honor came out and everything. I think, from what I'm trying to
remember. Before Honor?
Before Honor came out.
Oh, yeah. No, I everybody was just bastioning. Like, there would be like 4 bastions per team. And that was the game.
That was a special time. Yeah, because when me and Lionel were playing with some other people, we just eventually dissolved into a 3 Ana, 3 Reinhardt comp. And it was just, you built the alts for the Ana, you just nanoed all 3 Reinhardts, and they ran over the other team. It worked every time.
I remember when you were Brigitte, I played Ana, and I just nanoed you. And this is, I think, when they buffed her ult. And like, you literally took on the entire enemy team by yourself and drove them all the way back to their spawn.
For 20 seconds.
For 20 full seconds, they could not get out of their spawn. And you were the only one there. I remember, like, we were all just watching you do it.
Like, and it's not there in their spawn door. I am up against the barrier that prevented you from walking in and just swinging. And it's like, this is stupid, was what I remember saying.
We'll never get that back again. Overwatch is done.
That was so stupid.
It's done.
So, like, do you guys actually... I didn't actually play Overwatch 2 at all. I've only heard negative things, aside from... I've heard some people say like minor, nowhere near the praise that would get me back in the game though. You know, I've heard mostly negative things, and it's also severe. Isn't it the worst rated game on Steam right now?
I don't know if it still is, but it definitely was one of.
I mean, once it was the number one, just like worst rated.
Is it any good?
I don't know.
It can't be all bad.
It has like aspects of Overwatch 1. The main thing I remember was the tanks are way too important for the comps. Like, I remember that my first time fighting Junker Queen, I think it was. The fact that she can literally just ult through your entire team and then just murder all of you on the way back to her team is kind of a lot, you know? Yeah. And then I remember Reinhardt v Reinhardt is like a nothing. It's just
a pillow fight.
Yeah. It is the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not good. Honestly, I don't enjoy it. The fact that the tanks are like such pillars in the game and from what I can tell too, they're extremely unbalanced between each other. Some tanks are just way better than others.
Mhm.
You know, if you were in an organized setting, I could see how it'd be a much better game, because if you were building comps around your tanks, and taking advantage of the strengths they give, sure. But when you're in quick play, fuck no. Like that is not a thing.
It's 3 DPS, 1 healer, right?
No, it's 1 tank, 2 DPS, 2 healers.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought it was 3. I was going to say, no wonder tanks have to be beefy if you got to fight against 3 kinds of DPS, but okay.
Yeah, it was pretty oof. I'm saying that a lot today. I don't know why.
What? The oof?
Yeah.
It's just a oof kind of day, man.
I
Just be
guess
like
so.
that sometimes.
Every 27th.
Sometimes they do.
Every 27th, it's the ooth. Oof. Ooth. Fuck.
Oof.
All right.
What else do you have, Jacob?
Speaking of things that have ended, I didn't read too much about this, but I saw it because I saw you posted it. Netflix closed its game studio. Its AAA game studio. They had like kind of an all-star like cast in terms of like the people behind it.
They didn't
What
release
I
anything, did
understand.
they?
And they made nothing.
Yeah. I was gonna
Like-
say.
But like they had like some like a very high person from the Overwatch team. I think they had one of the producers or something from one of the from Halo or from Bungie. I think
A creative lead.
creative lead was it?
Yeah.
They had a bunch of people like really like kind of big names, and then they just didn't do anything with it, from what I understand.
Yeah, tried to look up some more on this, and there's just nothing.
Yeah.
Like we made a thing, didn't tell anybody about it, and then we threw it in the trash. The end. I can't imagine you wouldn't even try one, like whatever. I don't. There's no info. There's nothing.
I know.
I'd
That's
love to tell you more.
Like
Well, they probably got scared because they had to compete with, Blumhouse's games, dude.
yeah,
Dude, that's probably gonna nail it. You know how many fucking shitty horror games I played just because they're like not full price, they're like $15-$20, and they all like they don't even have to be different. Some just they have to work properly. That's like that's the extent of how good a horror game has to, like a first person jump scare horror, whatever. Like the fact that I like Chilla's games the most says a lot about jump scare horror games. Like they don't have to be flashy or good or expensive,
if you can boot up and play from start to finish without it blowing up your PC, it's good enough.
and not have puzzles that don't make any sense. Don't do that.
It's a Hallmark. What are you talking?
Oh my God, no. I've played too many where the puzzles are not, you can't solve them holistically. Like you have to Google it because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
The fucking what hotel game or whatever.
Yeah, I never finished that one, and that one had a cool environment. But that's the one I specifically. I think Lionel, you were in the stream, or it was Jacob, and I was like, "Yo, you guys need to look this up for me." And you were like, "Well, it doesn't make any sense, but here's the answer." It wasn't just me being stupid. Like this shit's
It
whack.
was. I don't think it was either of us. I think it was someone else. One of your
Maybe
other
it was-
mods.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe. Yeah, that was funny. But that's not the only time that's happened. So I'm ready for this Blumhouse. I'm ready. I'm ready for
Well,
PG-13 horror.
Something that's kind of interesting about Blumhouse, they sort of released a game already a few days ago,
Oh,
which is
Oh,
Fear the Spotlight.
and how's that looking?
Well, it already came out last year.
Oh, wait. Wait, what?
Yeah, so Fear the Spotlight came out last September already. And then I guess the devs partnered with Blumhouse and they just re-released it 5
Neat.
days ago. I mean, it has very positive reviews.
So this is kind of like the Cloverfield syndrome, where like, here's a thing nobody recognizes. We'll just
shit.
slap Cloverfield on it, and now it's a big deal.
Yeah, kind of.
Didn't Cloverfield Cloverfield Paradox is the second movie or whatever the fuck, right? That had
Yeah.
the monster for like 2 seconds, right?
It's spliced into scenes that didn't matter, so it could actually represent the title in some fashion at all.
No, I thought like the very end of the movie we saw it.
Yeah, the movie was I guess fuck video games again. The movie was a whole science fiction movie in space, spliced in with scenes that represented Cloverfield and like the Cloverfield monster with like less than 2 minutes of screen time just to make it match the title.
And then
that's all it was.
In the very end, like you saw it like fully grown or something, I think.
But it didn't have anything to do with the plot,
I know.
really. It was shoehorned in so hard. So Blumhouse does that, I guess. That makes sense. I mean, if I was to expect a company that would do that kind of stuff, Blumhouse would be at the top of the list.
Yeah, I mean, the game is apparently like pretty good. It's kind of like Baby's First Silent Hill is from kind of what it's been described as.
Okay. Yeah, I don't need that. I just go play Silent Hill, which I still didn't get time to do, so whatever.
But now you won't, because you don't got it now,
Yeah.
so now you won't.
I just lose at Guilty Gear and then turn off my computer.
Fuck this game.
Pretty much.
Instead of reflecting on himself, he blamed the beast.
Oh my god. I did reflect on myself. I said earlier yesterday or today, I said, I think I'm done. I think I'm too old. I can't do anything anymore. Everything's bad. I'm bad at everything.
You can pop buster.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's all you need.
The opponent chooses to do nothing.
Yeah, it's frustrating when I'm like losing to people in floor 10 and then I like close the game and I got like way too many hours to be losing to people in floor 10. Yeah, it's whatever.
But speaking of another thing that got canceled, Ubisoft has canceled Assassin's Creed Shadows Season Pass and Early Access for its collector's edition, dropping the price by $50.
God damn. So wait, the canceled season. So what? Like they're not planning DLC now.
They're not planning anything for the season pass, and the advanced access that you would get for like playing the game a few days early for its collector's edition is no longer there, from what I understand.
So are they refunding people any kind of money at all, or no?
I would assume so. That it would be paid back through whatever store price,
Because like
or storefront.
They're they're taking away the incentives to buy the edition.
Dude, they're actually just falling apart, huh?
Yeah, no,
like that is
every time we hear more about them, they are going downhill.
I don't think I've ever heard of a AAA studio actually canceling their season pass and dropping the price of a game.
Imploding on itself.
No, seriously, I've never heard of that happening before.
Yeah, no, this is one of the first times I
I've
really
heard
remember.
of it happening once before, but because I definitely remember hearing about something doing this, but I can't remember what it was.
It's such a rare
But it's
occurrence.
very rare.
Wow,
'Cause
that's crazy. Oh man.
Yeah.
They're probably because don't they also have a bunch of strikes going on right now
Yeah,
too?
in France, right?
Yeah.
There's the like
Well,
7.
Ubisoft Milan just joined France as well.
Oh, yep.
So,
Oh jeez.
Ubisoft might be dead by the end of this year.
oh no.
The jan-
Well, they got the Rayman remake coming. Come on.
Are you
Have
sure?
you met another person who's played Rayman? Have you played Rayman?
I have.
I
I've
played Rayman.
There. See, now I have. What now? I know 2 people who've played Rayman.
That'll save Ubisoft.
Well, here's the thing. I played Rayman, but I'm not buying a remake.
So fake fan. All right. What about you, Lana?
Not a fake fan. Why would I give fuck that
Fake
studio?
fan.
I'll only buy it if Ubisoft doesn't make it.
Yeah, see, there you go, right there.
Anti-Ubisoft fan. Got it.
Oh,
I love
man,
Rayman, but I
that's-
hate Ubisoft more.
That is crazy to me. I can't believe that they are doing that.
I just want to see how far down the rabbit hole they go at this point.
In addition to Ubisoft canceling something, we have Denuvo is apparently trying a new PR campaign. I don't know if you guys have seen anything on this.
What is Denuvo? Is that the anti-cheat?
It's the DRM software.
I saw something, but I don't know if it's exactly what you're talking about. But
One of their head executives, I think, had he had a discussion basically where he said that he was tired of gamers like treating Denuvo as a bad thing for gamers, and that they were going to try to get like a better image, and so they tried to open a Discord for people to come talk to them. It got
Oh, no,
flamed
don't do that.
immediately by hundreds of people.
holy shit!
Like, it fell apart so fast. Because now basically how it works, from what I understand, is they is they have discussion threads open only for specific times of day that they moderate. And it's just the Discord is basically closed down for the rest of the time that they aren't like actively moderating and doing the discussion.
They should just close it all down. Like, there's nothing good coming from that. I don't know what they're thinking.
No, it doesn't, dude, because it doesn't matter. Anytime they open it, it's gonna be like blah blah blah. Like people are gonna go nuts.
People are not not a fan of Denuvo
No, they're not.
because like the big thing about Denuvo is that no one's cracking it right now. Because there used to only be like one or two people that knew how to crack it. That have actively been confirmed to know how to crack Denuvo on games for pirating purposes.
Okay.
So now that but the thing with the people when those games were cracked is there is a like noticeable performance increase of non-pirated or pirated versions versus non-pirated versions because of Denuvo.
Oh, wow.
Like there is active evidence that like Denuvo slows games down. And it's usually is like the sanity checks that the program would run. Is like sometimes they tie it to very strange things. Because basically the way it works is it checks on certain like when it's called is like does it have a connection and do you own this game, right? But there's some implementations that are sometimes like for every frame a key is held or an action is performed, like any of them, it will call that check, which can tank your performance.
Oh, yeah.
So but like they keep saying that there's no problem. Like Denuvo doesn't cause any performance issues. There's no recorded instances, but we've literally seen the people who have cracked it. Like the games have had noticeable performance increases.
Wow. Yeah, I don't go for it. I don't know anything about Denuvo.
Fair enough.
I don't either. It's been a long time since I've even heard of Denuvo.
Anytime I
just
see
remember. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was just gonna say anytime I see it, it's just people being like spyware. That's it.
It's not so much spyware. It's more. It just makes games harder to play because it has such an impact on performance. And also, like anti-piracy is. There's been a lot of change in how anti-piracy should be done as well. Just because games are getting so expensive and there's so many countries that can't afford these games where piracy is like the only way for them to actually play them. That's kind of been getting more, people are realizing that more often now. Brazil is like a huge country that is often brought up as an example of this, where they can't afford a lot of the games that come out, so they pirate them. It's not that they don't want to pay for them, it's just they're not able to. So I could see why people hate Denuvo so much. It's only good for itself, the company.
Yeah,
it doesn't
help. Do anything for the consumer. Like, yeah, there's no positives, basically.
It makes your game worse, and it makes people that can't afford the game make it so they can't play the game. That's all it does. Yeah.
Dude, when it comes to like anti-piracy, you know, one of my favorite anti-piracy things some devs did was it was Serious Sam, where the game could detect if it was like a cracked copy. And it would send like an unkillable giant pink scorpion with like machine gun hands to kill you. They would chase you throughout the entire level.
That's funny.
Yeah, so you had to like get ready to speedrun, motherfucker, because you're gonna get fucked over.
I remember Undertale had one too, where when you started the game, Flowey would show up and he'd notice that you're playing a pirated copy of the game, and he'd just ask you to buy the game when you can, then he'd just go away. You can play the game.
What a boss.
You know what? That is the most wholesome version.
Hey, I noticed you're poor.
That's
all right. You can play.
One of my favorites, just for the irony of it, is Game Dev Tycoon. If it detected you had a pirated version, is a few years into your run, or like your game, you would eventually just start losing money to piracy, and eventually it would just take all of your sales.
Ooh, that's immersive.
So you just straight up fail at a certain point because the game takes all of your money away from you because of piracy.
That's pretty good, actually.
So Black Ops 6 came out.
I-
Did you guys see? Did you guys see the third party audio program that they have a license with inside of it? Did you hear about this?
No.
So they have a third party program that allows inside the game, which will basically try to create a 3D audio, like spatial audio setup based on your head and your headphones, is what it says. The only thing is, it costs $20
What?
Wait.
Yeah, there is a third part, because I forget who, because it's not Activision. It's their partner with some audio program. Final Fantasy 14
Beats.
has the same thing.
Is it free?
I don't think it's free in Final Fantasy either. It's like buried in one of the menus. Because I remember finding
what
it.
is this?
It's a like 3D spatial audio program.
Weird.
But it creates like a profile for like your head and your headphones to create, and it costs $20. The best part is people are saying that like they've tried it, and then they also just able to like mess with their audio settings like in 5 minutes and created a profile that sounded better.
Yeah, I can't imagine spending $20 on. I mean, especially when everybody's just using like gaming headphones, you know? Like there's not too many people out there looking for surround sound experience. Like I guess those people would pay the $20 as well, you know. It should be included in that
because
game.
because there are surround sound like gaming headsets. So
Okay.
it's, like 5.1, 7.1s. But I can imagine paying $20 on fucking Call of Duty game for like marginally better audio from what I've seen people say.
But sound whoring. You got to have the best search and destroy abilities, dog.
I totally can't talk because
What?
I own a Sennheiser GSX 1000 audio amplifier, which is like its little device. I'm looking at it. It's on my desk right now. And you plug in your headphones to it, and it plays in your computer, and it does exactly that. That's what it's for.
Oh,
And it
God.
costs $316.
and what was the intention with this purchase?
I can press a button and it does spatial surround sound for me. I've never used it before.
That's what I was waiting for. What are you going to do with that? Nothing. Listen to how good this Discord call sounds.
I can hear my dumbass friends on every direction.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool because I get this cool dial that I can use to turn the volume
How long
down.
have you been staring at it since I started talking about that?
Like
Dude.
the whole time?
$300 fidget toy.
Well, okay, so that's what I was saying is the people who are going to spend the money on, surround sound setups are going to want this kind like it's a very niche market for and I know you're kind of an audiophile. You're always mad about the sound of your voice and stuff, trying to make it better. We've been working on that for years.
I know. I've never succeeded.
It's never good enough.
You'll get
I
that
know.
one day.
No.
Not until he
Yeah.
is inside his computer.
Well, even like my headset too. I spend a lot of money on my headset as well, but yeah, it's a very niche thing. I guess it's something you can get for like $20. Like it's not that bad because if that's something that you're interested in, but is it like for that game or like
Yeah.
if I buy it, I have it to any game available?
It's for
It has
Black
it.
Ops, from what I understand. It's just through
Oh.
Black Ops.
Ooh.
Wait, the game that releases every year is only for that game?
You know what I'm kind of curious about is how the spatial audio works with that omnidirectional movement. So if you're just flipping around losing your mind, is that what you're hearing as well? You need to be as realistic as possible except for that whole thing. I need to look more into that, but every time I've seen it I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why are we doing this? I'd love to cover Black Ops 6 more, but I don't think any of us are actually interested. Maybe Strider.
I mean, I played it earlier
Oh, never mind.
because it's on Game Pass, and there's a group of my other friends were doing zombies, so I joined them. I was like, I'll try GeForce Now with a Call of Duty game.
How is it? What would you? Is it?
GeForce Now with
Call of no Call of Duty. Just the game.
Yeah, no, fuck GeForce.
Is it? Well, he's having good experience with GeForce.
No,
now.
I'm like, that's not exactly what I meant. I was saying we don't care about the GeForce. We want to know the Call of Duty.
Is it just Call of Duty again?
I mean, so far, like, I've only played a few hours of zombies. I haven't gotten to touch anything else.
How is the movement?
The movement feels fine. Like, I haven't had any problem with it.
So if you've used it, when they say omnidirectional, can you just like sprint in any direction now? Is that what it is?
I could not tell you. I
What does
haven't
that
noticed
mean?
anything. It's their new new movement system from what I remember from the trailers. Because I actually never even noticed. Because I skipped the tutorial. It just went straight into zombies because everyone else did. But what they were saying is is just a bunch of new movement. Like there is sprinting backwards, there's sprinting in any direction. There's sliding, dolphin diving. It was supposed to be a lot more focus on the movement, but I haven't actually got to try it out.
Because I watched a video trying to showcase it, and one thing I was skipping through it because the guy's voice is kind of annoying, but he was strafing. And he's like, "Oh, I feel so weird," and I'm just sitting there like, "You're just strafing. Like, what's the difference here? You're just going back and forth. Like, I don't see anything different." It was like
you wouldn't understand. You're not a real Call of Duty game.
Well, no, it's like I feel like it would have to be something you'd have to play yourself to really experience, because watching a video just looks the fucking same.
Yeah, because the one thing I've always Call of Duty is that it's always felt great to play. Like the actual video game itself has been always pretty good. Just the shell around it is not the greatest.
What do you mean by shell?
Like the monetization, the fucking UI can fuck off and die. Holy shit, I hate that fucking game's UI.
Haven't the UIs in the last several Call of Duty games been kind of dog shit?
Well, it's because since they've combined everything into the one Call of Duty app from, I think Modern Warfare 2 was the first one. The second Modern Warfare 2.
That's when they introduced like Warzone and stuff, right?
Warzone was Modern Warfare 1. And then they started combining things. So it's like Warzone, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Cold War, and Black Ops 6.
I forgot there was a Cold War.
Basically launched through the Call of Duty app.
Call of Duty game.
I love that it's all essentially just the same game 6 times.
What was that? What was
and
that
you just
one?
gotta choose.
No, sorry, guys. I hold on to what I want to say, but
no, go for it.
I was just gonna say, what was that one that we're all like, oh, that can't that's a thing that came out? Was it Vanguard?
Yeah, I think Vanguard's the one that everybody played collectively for an hour.
I remember hearing it was like, oh yeah, it's been out for like a week, and I was like, I didn't ever fucking heard anything about this game.
Vanguard was mixed reviews, but also just a shit ton of people played it because it's a fucking Call of Duty game.
I think that's where we're really at. Like, it doesn't matter how good or bad the games
Call of Duty
are.
won't die.
It's
It's one of the top grossing franchise games every year, no matter what.
It is exactly what they're looking for with sustainable, foreseeable profit. You know, you don't even have to change the game. You just make it again.
Just make it look a little bit different visually.
Yeah, not even like Madden. What was that Madden you guys were talking about?
Madden?
Where they left the same thing. They had a Madden.
Are you talking about the Madden where they put the wrong? They updated the year, but they kept the wrong
title thing or whatever.
The wrong Madden on the in-game wall for the
the previous year's one.
They had the wrong logo.
They don't care. They don't care. Placeholders. What are you talking about? This is the final product.
No, I was just saying, you just add sparklers to your gun, and it's a whole new Call of Duty.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, that last one, we got to end here pretty quick. But just that last time I played Call of Duty, and there's vampires and
you got spoiled to Godzilla.
I got spoiled to the Godzilla movie. I can't believe that even happened. That was such an unpleasant experience. Just getting through the menus and then playing the actual game, and then the people, when they die, they have explosion effects. So you can't even tell, especially if you're playing one of those hardcore, everybody's dying all the time maps, and everybody's got those fucking death effects on.
Visual diarrhea.
It's so horrible. Yeah, and like I said, characters running around is the guy from the
Fucking
hero.
Homelander.
Oh my god, The Boys, Homelander, yeah, and then vampires, and then I don't even remember. I've erased it from my memory. It was
you get shot by a celebrity or two.
yeah, and
And then
I'm like, what are
Alucard
we
from
even
Helsing
doing
shows
here?
up and dive bombs you into the floor.
What collabs has Call of Duty had? Because there have been some out there ones.
It doesn't matter. I just know that I always have to have like another 60 gig game on it to play multiplayer as well. I don't understand that, but you know, I would have to assume that when you download, they make you download Warzone so they can show that to investors that like, oh yeah, this many people have Warzone, you know.
I mean,
Because there's no reason for it to be on there.
The big reason why Warzone is used is because basically they use a bunch of assets from Warzone, like all over the place throughout the different Call of Duties.
Uh-huh.
So that it's basically like the central file that everything is structured around, from what I understand now.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's why I think Modern Warfare 1 isn't included ever, is because Warzone was built into it later, but they were able to build it up from the ground up further later on. So it's now become the central.
Well, I hope everybody who plays Call of Duty is happy playing Call of Duty. That's all I have to say about that. I would
they're
ask if you
not,
have any more
but they'll
news.
play
Yes,
it.
they are.
Dude,
they're just like League players.
Cut away to screaming obscenities and slurs over Xbox Legends.
They're not happy, but they'll play it.
Oh my god, I will always remember the fucking Call of Duty Instagram thing you sent me, Liz. Of the guy breathing into the mic and just immediately getting called a slur.
That's how that shit goes. Like, it's always been like that. Never change. Never change Call of Duty. Well, yeah, I had some stuff, but we're way past time. We got to get to doing another thing. So as long as you guys are cool with it, I'm going to end it on Call of Duty. Thank y'all so much for listening. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them on the video or hit us up at giantenemycrabpod@gmail.com. I think that's it, boys.
Yep.
We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See you next time.